Wednesday expressed its readiness to share military hardware, including missiles and electronic warfare systems, with countries in the Indian Ocean region, where China has been increasingly raising its profile in recent years. Speaking at the opening session of the day long IOR Defense Ministers Conclave in Bengaluru on the sidelines of the Aero India show, Defense Minister Rajnath Singh said India's aim of holding the meet was to synergize the resources and efforts in the Indian Ocean, including defense industry cooperation amongst participating countries. On this edition of India's World, we will analyze India's vision for the IOR. Joining me on the program today are Major General Ashwini Sivach, retired defense analyst, Gurjeet Singh, former ambassador, and Vice Admiral Satish Soni, retired former Commander in Chief, Eastern and Southern Command. Thank you to all my guests for joining me on this edition of India's World. Admiral, let me begin the program with you first. As far as the Defense Ministers Conclave or the IOR Defense Ministers Conclave is concerned, what were the key takeaways? What was the reason behind holding this, and what are India's, ambitions for the IOR?
Well, to me, the biggest takeaway is that we are trying to reach out to the smaller countries in the Indian Ocean region and telling them that, India is quite happy to be the preferred security partner. Now, I think in the last few years, it has become very apparent that the major security challenge that we have is from China. And we have also realized that China is reaching out to our small neighbors and exploiting that they cannot manage their security by themselves. So it is offering them capacities and the capabilities at modest prices. China has got very deep pockets. It is developing infrastructure, and the countries actually do not. These small countries do not want to be a part of either China's sphere of influence or the US sphere of influence, or for that matter, India's sphere of influence. They just want to improve their lot. They want to improve connectivity. They want to exploit the ocean economies. They want to exploit it in a sustainable development fashion. They want to increase their security capabilities, and they don't want to land up like Somalia did. And this is what China is exploiting. So I think India has had policies in the past which the Prime Minister has from time to time, being spoken about, like Sagar and Mausam and neighborhood policy first and Act East, and the list runs long. Essentially, what we are telling the smaller countries is that let us work together. Let us not fall prey to being exploited by extra regional powers, and India is there to help. So I feel the biggest takeaway from this, conclave is us reaching out to the smaller countries and us we offering our military industrial infrastructure and willingness to cooperate and share whatever we have improved over the years. I think and this also sends a message to China, especially when we have problems at the LSE in the north, that the Indian Ocean team is together and the Indian Ocean team would not be exploited by them. I think this is for me the biggest takeaway.
Ambassador, let me come across to you now. Of late we've noticed that, the focus really as far as the Indian Ocean is concerned, or if you look at it from the Indo-Pacific point of view, the focus has been on the big players, be it, China, be it Japan, Australia, the US, India, France, and a few others. But it's good to see that we are trying to rope in some of the smaller players as well and make them a part of this initiative and give them too a piece of the pie, isn't it?
Thank you, Frank. So I think this is a very welcome move by the government of India to have the Indian Ocean Region Defense Ministers Conclave on the sidelines of Aero India. It reminds me, I think, just before the lockdown, they had an African defense ministers meeting around DEF Expo in Lucknow. So I think this is the good trend that we are following. So as you said, why are we doing this? So while there is an Indo-Pacific construct, and it is in the Indian version of the Indo-Pacific that the Indian Ocean to the west, which means up to the shores of Africa, plays a role. Somewhat belatedly, the French and the Japanese also talk about that. Essentially, to them, the Pacific and the South China Sea is more important than the Western Indian Ocean. But to India, that remains primary. And India is not a Johnny-come-lately in this. In 1997, India led the formation of the Indian Ocean Rim Association, IORA, which has now 23 members with the addition of France in December last year. And it has, I think, 9 dialogue partners. Now, with that thing which was originally a non-P5 construct, India, Australia, Indonesia, South Africa, these were the big nodes. And the countries that you see today, all of them are still part of the IORA. Now, IORA was not a security establishment. It was a functional collaboration for sustainable development and peace and security. What we have done now is we have given it a security dimension by linking it to our Indo-Pacific policy, but not calling it an IORA event. We are simply calling it an IOR event, not an IORA event. So that puts us in the clear. The second thing, I think, is that I think we have taken off our veil. We are no more pretending that we can export defense equipment. We say we are, and we want to do it robustly. Plus, our capabilities are all on show. Everybody talks about India being a large importer of military equipment. But I think today the government has decided now that we must export what we can. So besides uniforms and small weapons, I think there's a large number of big things which were on display at Aero India, which are now being put up. So as the list mentions, there are missiles, there are helicopters, there are tanks and many other things. The third aspect is that you can't export this unless you either give what are called friendship prices or you subsidize the credit. Now, India has large amounts of lines of credit available, but in the current scenario where debt stress is hitting many countries, including in Africa, you are not going to have them pick up your equipment simply because of this. So what they are doing is shifting the infrastructure and social sector to either grants or PPP projects and shifting sovereign guarantee for defense requirements. This means that Indian equipment, like we give to, say, Vietnam under lines of credit, is going to become a more potent weapon for use of credit lines in the Indian Ocean region, because India is one of the few countries which actually provides credit lines to them. So I think this is a very wise way to show what we are capable of. And at the same time, as Admiral Soni has said, we have shown our strategic intent behind this.
Absolutely. General, since we are here then, let's also talk about, from a defense point of view, what is it that India can offer some of these smaller nations in the IOR?
Frank, first of all, very importantly, which has been brought by both the panelists, that India holds a very strategic location in Indian Ocean region. Starting from Australia in the east and west, it is up till South Africa. So it is in the center of this Indian Ocean region, and it has got a coastline of 7,500 kilometers. So obviously, it is the country which dominates the maximum sea lanes which are going in Indian Ocean. One is that, if you remember, that the 50% of your ships, especially container ships, are passing through this sea lane, and 1/3 of the cargo ship and 75% of your oil goes. So as far as India is concerned, Indian Ocean region is very important, and we play a major role in that, and we can be you can say a net security provider and a reliable partner to majority of these countries which are smaller countries. And we have been always talking about 3 issues. That one is the freedom of navigation in Indian Ocean region, rule-based international order, and maintaining territorial integrity and sovereignty of all the countries in the Indian Ocean region, including smaller island nations. Having said so, Now, as far as India is concerned, we have come a long way because very rightly told by the ambassador that we used to import almost 75% of our equipment, military equipment from either from Russia, America, Japan and Israel. But time is now changing and we are trying to make in India and trying to make a number of weapon system in India itself. And not only that, we are capable of exporting them and earn a foreign exchange. And so these items are basically missiles, which India has considerably done extremely well. The Akash missile is there, ground to air, Akshay air to air beyond visual range, then Swati, which is a radar, which is important, which we have given to Armenia, which has just recently fought a war between Azerbaijan and Armenia. Then we have a Nag, which is called anti-tank missile. Then we have got tanks. Then we have got basically a gun system, that is artillery gun system, which is Dhanush, which is a copy of Bofors. We have made an air artillery system, which is a Toad, which has got a 50-kilometer range. State of art, there the interest has been shown by many countries. And the biggest game changer is BrahMos missile. It is a supersonic missile which is being made between India and Russia. And today it is the best missile available in the world with a nuclear warhead. So this, then again, light combat aircraft, light combat helicopter, Tejas also, a lot of countries have shown the interest. We have also got basically electronic warfare equipment. So as on today, more than 145 items where we have displayed, and a lot of these countries, which almost 26 of them which have come and represented not only by their defense minister or a minister or by their ambassador oblique the high commissioner, gave a sort of importance which the India deserves. So as on today, India is in center state. India is a country which can produce these items, and a lot of these smaller nations are showing a lot of interest in purchasing it. Because for three reasons. One is that no one believes in US and China. First of all, everyone is worried that the sea prints which China is increasing in Indian Ocean region is a cause of concern for everyone. Because remember, in about 5-6 years back, there used to be not that much presence of PLA Navy. But today, it has come in a long way. If you remember that they are going to have now a very big exercise by Pakistan, where UK, US, Russia and China are coming. Exercise called Aman, where Admiral, has just spoken about the Navy Chief of Pakistan, wherein he is telling that the China is a very important player in Indian Ocean region to balance out India. And that is what. So, therefore, we should not be very happy that what we have done of Indian Ocean region, we could have this defense minister conclave, that Pakistan is also going in a big way, and Chinese have come in a big way, where they almost have 3 to 4 warships and submarines. But all said and done, India is now in a stage where we can export weapon system, and our weapon system are you can say state of art, and they are competitive in rates, and a lot of these countries have shown interest.
Right, points taken. Okay, let me take the points that you're making forward then, So, Admiral Soni, as far as India's prowess is concerned, as far as India's export capability is concerned, how has it progressed over the years? What is it that we can offer these nations, and what it is that we are offering these smaller nations? Is it something that would be of use to? Is it something that they, would take willingly?
India has done exceedingly well in the maritime sector with regard to indigenization. In 1961, we made the first patrol boat, INS Ajay, in Gardner shipyards. In 1972, we followed it up by commissioning of a frigate, INS Nilgiri. In 1980, we designed for the first time a frigate, INS Godavari. It was not a very perfect design, but it was indigenous. Then we commissioned INS Delhi, which was a big destroyer. And thereafter, it's been Shivalik, it has been the Kadmat class, it is now the Vishakhapatnam class, and we are now designing the new generation destroyers. We are going to commission an indigenously built IAC, Indian Aircraft Carrier, in a year or so. We are the only nation which has built SSBN indigenously with help from some foreign friends. And today, INS Kadmat class is about 95% indigenous. And, we've been already helping all our neighbors. Mauritius, we've been given a boat. First time we gave them a boat was way back in 1976, soon after their independence. We gifted them a boat. We gifted a boat to Seychelles. We gifted a boat to Maldives. We've recently given a submarine to Myanmar. We have built offshore patrol vessels and gifted offshore patrol vessels to Sri Lanka. The Indian Navy does survey duties for all the smaller countries in the Indian Ocean region. We are, the key player for providing humanitarian assistance and disaster relief. Tsunami 2004 is a sterling example. And every time there is a cyclone which hits countries like Myanmar and Bangladesh, we are the first responders. We have an international fusion center in which there are representatives from other countries, and maritime domain awareness of the entire Indian Ocean is collated and distributed. We have built coastal radar stations for Maldives, for Sri Lanka, for Mauritius. We've got AIS stations. We carry out EEZ patrols, for these smaller countries. So the Indian Navy is, today a blue water navy. It's a modern navy. It has got state-of-the-art ships, and we do whatever we can for these smaller countries already. But I must say that we are a bit stressed, but notwithstanding that, we tighten our belts and we help our neighbors. Now, this is what the Indian Navy has been doing. I may have left out, certain areas, but we've been doing everything possible, from providing water when there was a water shortage in Maldives, for carrying out military interventions when there were some coup attempts against democratically elected governments, and our neighbors sort of rely on them, and never have we asserted ourselves, or we have in crude language to say blackmail our friends. We've always been very upright, and we've never coerced them into giving us some advantages. We have never sought basing rights, etc. What now you find the China, the new power, is coming to. Now, what is it that we can do? I think what Defense Ministers Conclave has offered is what we must do, and on an urgent basis. We must offer all the technologies that we have. We have over 40 DRDO labs which have been doing some outstanding research, and they have produced, from sonars to radars to guns to torpedoes to rocket systems, name it, everything they have produced. Some of them are state of the art, but some of them are, have modest capabilities, but capabilities that are enough for these, smaller countries to manage their securities, to manage their EEZ, etc. I think we must go into, collaborations with them. We must seek, we must understand what these smaller navies aspire, and we must try and involve them in building military infrastructure and military capabilities, which are interdependent. It's not as if that we have to export always. No, we have to have similar capabilities, develop these capacities and capabilities in other countries also. So it has to be a collaborative effort. Nobody likes to just keep on buying, a military equipment just like us.
Right.
We can provide so much of training. As it is, we train about 850 foreign personnel by the Navy only annually. And these training is provided under the ITEC schemes. It's free of cost. We give scholarships, and we have state-of-the-art training facilities. And even if we have to give to some people who can afford to pay us, it's very marginal cost. So I think it's an extremely good initiative, and we must walk the talk, and we must be aggressive, and we must assure our partners that India and Indian defense services and our defense industry will stand by them in times of need.
All right. Ambassador, since we're here, then, we've seen in the past as well that some of these smaller nations, our neighbors, tend to play the China card every now and then. So despite us doing so much, despite us providing all this aid, all this help, and being there whenever they need it, they need us. The China card is played. So how do we offset that?
When you deal with the ASEAN countries who are in the Indian Ocean or the whole, or you deal with African countries, including in the Indian Ocean, I don't think it is wise to push this either or narrative. All those countries are not fighting your battles, and you are not expected to fight theirs. Therefore, I think strategically, we have to be seen as a good friend rather than a friend who asks them to make choices. Having said that, how do you be a good friend? Today, very few countries among this region have blue water ambitions. Most of them have got coastal ambitions. And who are their challengers? The challengers are not blue water navies. The challenges are illegal fishermen, illegal migrants, terrorists, as Admiral said, humanitarian assistance and disaster relief, money laundering, drug runners. These are your problems. So you need to deal with them with, patrol boats, with the smaller equipment, with surveillance. And this is the kind of thing which India is now producing and able to export. Secondly, many militaries in the region need a deterrent quality which raises their stature internally. That is where missile batteries of, say, Akash or BrahMos, as General Swaj mentioned, come into play. Seriously, they're not going to use it against anybody, but they need it to say that we have the power to deter, and that is why they need it. Today, I think we are ready to export BrahMos. This is something which has been in demand, but today I think we are ready to do it because I think, as Admiral mentioned, today the defense requirements of indigenous production are being largely met, leading to surpluses. And more efficient productivity also leads to exportable surpluses. And these, I think, are what we need to push at. I don't think the China narrative needs to be brought in. This, I think, is if you say that either you buy my boat or buy a Chinese boat, then I think you are leading yourself into a problem. You simply say, see, I am a benign power, I use it. So I'll give you an example. Admiral Soni and I used to meet in Indonesia when we were both in service. And the Indonesians were so impressed that the visiting Indian ships, as he mentioned, were made in India. I remember there was once a Coast Guard ship which had equipment to clear up oil spills in the sea. It was entirely Indian made. This impressed them, no doubt, because this frequently happens in the seas around the Malacca Straits and all. So this kind of technology, which deals with pollution, with prevention, surveillance, I think these are very important and we are ready to offer them. So our strategy is to be a good friend to these people and not ask them to choose between friends.
Absolutely. Okay, General Suvash, let me come across to you now. So of what strategic importance are these smaller nations in the IOR to us and vice versa, and how can we be of mutual help to each other?
These smaller countries have very large importance in the Indian Ocean region. And we also know that China is going in a big way in try to be friendly with them, and majority of them are in debt trap, including Maldives, including Sri Lanka, to some extent Bangladesh and Mauritius. So therefore, the point is we have to be very clear on 2-3 issues. One is that you like it or not like it, the China is coming in a big way in the Indian Ocean region. And if you have to counter it, your strategy has to be a multiple choices which has to be given to these nations, and you have to act as a friend. If you want that the Chinese should not be there and you are the one which are going to be a net security provider and a reliable partner, you should have something up there to give to them and offer them. And I suppose that is what now the Indian strategy is, that we cannot allow the Chinese to have footprints in Indian Ocean region the way they have gone about it. And remember that we keep on talking the pearl of string, but it's a fact that starting from Myanmar in Kua Kapu, The Chinese have come, then in basically Chittagong in Bangladesh, Hambantota in Sri Lanka, and then in Maldives they have taken island, then Djibouti in Africa and Gwadar in Pakistan. So if you see it that they are encircling India, they are coming in a big way in Indian Ocean region, and these smaller littoral islands play a major role. So we have to make sure that our presence is felt, and our presence can be only felt by 2-3 ways. One is we have to show a friendly relationship, and second thing, we have to give them an alternative to what Chinese are giving. And they should understand that Chinese are no one's friend. Chinese are the one which are, put you in a debt trap in long run. So you offer them something, you show them in a competitive rate and try to be more friendly. So therefore, the choice is not by dictating, but making it out in a manner, they find it that Indian policy and Indian system of working is a democratic, and they are friend, they are a partner. You see, we are not talking about anything else. We are saying we are your reliable partner. In case of emergency, we are closest to you and we will come to your aid, maybe tsunami, maybe piracy, and maybe that weapon and equipment. Now, this weapon and equipment is a new phenomenon which has come, that in last about 4-5 years, our defense industry has done very well. And hence, we are capable of now selling these weapon systems at a competitive rate, and our quality is state of art. That's why so many countries like Vietnam, Indonesia, Brazil, and South Africa to some extent are showing interest in BrahMos, because the world-class missile which is available, cruise missile available to world. So therefore, that's how the interest is shown. Or the other weapon system which we are now going, the light combat aircraft, which Tejas Mark 1 Alpha, which has been recently inducted in Indian Air Force. Order has been given for 83. This interest has been shown. Light combat helicopter is shown. The tanks has been also shown. The guns which are Dhanush gun which I was talking, that is again interest is shown. Then the radars are very important, the Swati radars. And then is the tanks, anti-tank missile, the Nag is very, very crucial. A lot of importance has been shown. So therefore, overall, as far as India is concerned, India can offer them quite a bit. And Admiral has already covered as far as the Navy is concerned, whether it is basically warships are concerned, patrols are concerned. After all, India is now building its own aircraft carrier. Vikrant is already there, sea trial will start very recently. So therefore, India has a lot to offer. India will give it in a very competitive rate. India will show to these countries that India is a reliable partner, is a net security provider of this area. To me, it looks like that our